Yes, the summer seasons have been crazy this year, and we've been suffering through a soar in high temperatures, and now we are waiting the rainy season for relief.
Amazing. I mean, it's interesting here in the UK. It's supposed to be summer. We had some days of really good weather, and then all of a sudden the weather changes to very cold, and that's why I have a sweater on now, even though I mean the weather is so unpredictable. So right now it's a bit cool. So welcome once again, everyone, to the June session of the eLID series webinar, our monthly webinar. We did not have it last month because of our conference, which was really, really explosive. So uh, um, put in the chat, please, where you're joining from, what the temperature is where you are. So I'm in the UK. I'm joining from the UK, and the temperature here right now is 16 degrees with a bit of sunshine here and there. Great. So Sherin is joining from India, almost close to 50 degrees. That is interesting. Wow. Wow. That is so interesting. So welcome everyone. So without wasting much of our time, while we wait for more people to join us, our speaker is here, Sherin. For those of you that were part of the conference, she was one of our speakers, and her session was very, very impactful and great. So I'm going to say be very, very expectant. I hope you have your notes here, because today's session is going to be very practical. We're going to be doing some interactive session together. So hand over to you, Sherin. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be part of this platform and conduct another session for this community and this group. And we are a small group. We might have more people joining in. But let's take advantage of being such a close-knit group and keep the interactions happening. I would love to, in each milestone of my conversations and what I bring about, I would love for you to participate. So that's an expectation which I'm openly setting up with all of you. Um, I'll just take a few seconds and introduce myself. And while I do that, I'm going to pull up the screen. All right. Okay. So I have very few slides per se to show, and more practical based work which I would love to take all of you. So welcome to today's session where we're talking about time mastery and remote leadership as part of the learning and development community. And these are few snippets of my pictures which I have done across industries and people development in India. So this is how I say that learning and development is both my playground and my battlefield. I come with 5+ years of experience. It is a space where I'm born and brought up. That's how I like to tell. I come with an computer engineering background and a lot of interest in the entrepreneurship space. I'm the owner founder of a learning and development company called the Upskill Studio. It's been 5 years since we are into existence. I also work with a team who are remote in nature. They are part of different cities and states in India. And I also coordinate and work with international folks for different programs. So while I do a lot of offline programs, there's a lot of online management which happens and across time zones. And I thought this is a great opportunity to share those insights with all of you, because this is a growing field and there's so much opportunity for each one of us over here. So these are few snippets from my programs across managerial development, team building, outbound training, new joiners, etc. All right, diving straight into it, the top things that worked for me across these things, and each of them we're going to talk, discuss. I'm going to do a few demos as well. So, first is predicting and forecasting behavior. By enabling this behavior for myself, I have seen so much change and helped me become a better leader. I do not come from experience of working in the corporates. So that's a very interesting thing about me, that I've never worked in a corporate setup, because right after my engineering degree, I straight away got into entrepreneurship. First, I started with freelancing. Then I got into entrepreneurship, and today I have and lead my own team as well. We are a small knit team, but it's a team nonetheless. This behavior during that journey, understanding it and learning about it, has really helped. Second, we talk about timeline planning, where projects, once we understand how to time it across a duration, a period, it definitely helps. Resource mapping, what are the resources we have, what do we need? That planning helps us, mapping them will help us with better time management and leadership. What are some project blockers and pausers? Verbatim trust and the wordplay part of it. Now, I'm going to stop my screen share and check with you all. If you can tell me, what do you understand by predicting and forecasting behavior? The word predicting and the word forecasting. Let's hear from you. And then I'll give you a very detailed explanation about it. You can feel free to unmute and speak. Feel free to put it on chat. Your call, but I'd love to hear from you. Predicting and forecasting. I'm just going to type those two words out here: predicting and forecasting. Let's understand the meaning. Let's understand what can be the difference between those, and why does this particular behavior help us with remote leadership as well as time management. Okay, I'm waiting for answers. Predicting and forecasting. By the way, if there's a confusion, you can always pull it up from Google, but explain it to us in your own words. I'm very happy to hear that as well. Okay. Anyone who would like to unmute and speak, let's keep it interactive. The advantage of a small knit group is we get to speak with each other. A larger group might have certain limitations. Okay, let me check the chat. I'm still waiting for some responses. Okay. So I'm getting predicting is guessing without data, all right? Then what does forecasting mean? Predicting with data, all right? Anything else? Okay, I get an answer saying predicting is being proactive, all right? That's a very interesting perspective. What else do we have? Let's see what else is coming. I see people typing. I'm going to hold the space. I can see multiple people typing. Great. Let's see what we get. Okay. So the next one, predicting is using data to tell a future occurrence. Okay. Somebody tell me about forecasting as well. I've got 2-3 responses for predicting. Tell me something about forecasting. Okay, I see some typing happening. Forecasting is using data to predict future outcomes. Interesting. All right. So let me talk a little further about this and why do I call it a behavior? Because when it becomes behavior, it's also now become a habit of mine. Certain habits, when we develop over the course of time, determines how well we are able to manage our time and how well we are able to hone our leadership skills as well. So predicting is where we try to determine the exact outcome of a future event. But it also involves a high degree of uncertainty because we are predicting it. There is no assurance if it is going to happen in that way or not. Now, there is very limited or incomplete data, there is intuition at place, and there are generally expert opinions involved as well. Some examples which I can give is, for example, flipping a coin. Now, there are only two outcomes, whether it's heads or whether it's tails. But whether I will get heads or tails, it is a 50-50% chance. Predicting the winner of a sporting event, guessing somebody's age. So, all of these things are predicting depending on some points of data. Now, forecasting is estimating a future trend or outcome based on historical data and analysis. For example, like our stock markets, right? Because we understand patterns, we are trying to follow that. So we are able to guess if this company is going to perform well or not. Most of the time, there is a more accurate picture at play. Some examples: weather forecasting. How are we able to know what is the weather going to be tomorrow? And why does it turn out to be at least 95% right? Because we've been studying patterns for so long and I have the past data available, the historical data available, hence I am able to know. Now, bringing the same analogy, and for all those, for whatever I've just said, I have it in text format as well, which I am just putting out on chat per se. Here we go. Okay. So please take your time and read through this. Why am I talking about this? What is the importance of it here? Because my time management and my leadership skills heavily rely on how well I understand my project needs. Each training requirement, each consulting opportunity is very unique in nature. Even if you do the same work again and again, what happens is that there will at least be a few degrees of originality which comes in. 5 years I have been in this industry. All I have done is different kinds of L&D projects and training requirements. None of the projects have been same. Even if I get two managerial development programs, there is some degree of uniqueness in both the programs, which means that my time management skills and leadership skills has to be very high. Because if I have a team, if I'm working with a group of people, I am a leader. I am managing them, I am taking them forward. So, this behavior helps me understand first my people resources, second, my technology resources, and third, all the external resources in terms of it could be my stationery, it could be my props or designing, all of those things fall under these categories. So, this is what predicting and forecasting, this behavior to apply and take it forward becomes equally useful out here. Now, with respect to time management, there is one framework which I follow, and I follow it very diligently, and it works for me. I would like to share that with you all. Okay. Is this anybody knows what this what is this matrix about? There are two names for this matrix in the market. If this is something you're familiar with, let's hear from you. Anybody who would like to unmute and tell? It's just one word. There are two names for this matrix. I'm just going to view the chat. Okay, nothing has come till now. Anybody who would like to tell what is this matrix all about? Anyone who has any reference to it? Okay. So for all those who would not know about it, this is a very popular time management technique called the Eisenhower matrix. Okay, I just said, and I see a chat come in. Yes. Okay, so you're absolutely right. It is for task management and time. It's called the Eisenhower matrix, also known as the priority matrix. Okay, so if you see, we have the x-axis. This is the x-axis and the y-axis. So what is important and is urgent, I should, whatever is in that box, I should finish it off as soon as possible because it is extremely important. It is of priority. Second is, it is important but not urgent. So this is priority. This is scheduling. So it is important, but it is not urgent. So I should be able to schedule it. Tasks which are not important, but they are urgent, has to be delegated, has to be involving other people so that it gets done in time. And tasks which are not important and not urgent, they generally have to be deleted, because that is where my time is lost and I am not able to manage my time properly. So these are some examples: important and urgent. So responding to a time sensitive email, last minute prep for a meeting or any kind of a work task, booking a hotel for an upcoming trip, and why not personal, feeding myself. Sometimes I have to keep reminders to even finish my quota of water intake as well. So it's important and urgent because it needs to be done. Now, what is important and not urgent is scheduling. So, working out, cooking quality food, compiling list of sightseeing spots, family time. So, if you see what is important and not urgent, by the way, let me please acknowledge that in this industry, a lot of us work either at solopreneur capacity or work with smaller teams. A very few part of our population, which is the LND or the LNDT team, works with bigger organizations. So, considering all of them, our personal and professional lives, they are similar. There is one truth I would like to tell you: people talk about work life balance, but my perspective is that work and personal life, we are the same people living both parts of it. We just need to manage our time by blocking them and chunking them. I cannot say that Sherin is a different person at work and Sherin at home is different. Sharon is the same person who's going to undergo 24 hours. Depending on what my schedule is, sometimes personal work takes priority, personal life takes priority. Depending on my work schedule and projects, work takes priority. So, whenever I make this box, I include my 24 hours, personal plus work. Because Sharon is not two different entities. Sharon is one entity going through a 24-hour cycle and she has to manage multiple things. So, my what I have figured out is, and what works best for me is when I combine my personal and professional tasks under this matrix, under this four box system, then I'm able to manage my life very well. Monday, I have an important meeting, but also I need to go to the bank. Both of them you will see on my task list because I need to manage both of it in priority depending on what is more urgent. So, yeah. So attending networking event, it is important but not urgent, which means I can schedule it. So this month is very hectic for me. I need to attend a networking event. I'll plan something for the month of July out there. Not important but urgent. Taking training courses for my company, for my project. Maybe I need to learn something new. I'm an entrepreneur, so it's not just about knowing skills for my craft, which is content development, training skills, but because I am also running a business, accounting is important. Even something as simple as learning Excel becomes that much of priority to me. But it's not important, it's urgent, because if I don't do it, my work will suffer. Creating graphics for social media or for some particular project, buying new walking shoes for trip. So when I do team building and outbound trainings, I need good footwear, so it's part of my list. Going on social media, now social media is not bad, but if I'm going to spend more than 30-45 minutes, which is not part of research, and mindless scrolling, or people call it doom scrolling as well, that's going to be my time waster out here. uh, Reading political news, India has gone through 3 months of election period right now. Now the results are out. We are wondering where things are going, how things are going. It's good to be aware, but if I'm going to be obsessing over it and spend all my time, my work might take a backseat. So things which right now are not directly affecting me, but I'm spending more than required time and attention to it, can be time wasters. Now, how do I do this box? I do these box at two levels. First level, I do a weekly planning. So the same box I create, but I do a weekly list, which is more of a macro view. And then every day, I also create this box at a micro level. So tomorrow is Friday in India. Tonight, before signing off for the day from work, generally by 7:30, 8 p.m., I sign up from work completing. The last 15 to 30 minutes I spend in making this box for tomorrow. It can be a digital version, it can be a rough sketch in your notebook. But now, because I'm so used to it, I directly go to my calendar and do this. So I have a weekly planning which I do either every Friday evening or Sunday evening, depending on my schedule. And I do a daily planning as well. Now, the reason for using this box is that it's very structured. It does not let my thoughts waver everywhere. A thumb rule to remember when you use the Eisenhower matrix is that no box should have more than 8 points in it. The idea is not to collect as many tasks in each box as possible. The idea is to really put thought in which task falls where so that you can deal with it accordingly. This is one thing which has really improved my time management skills, because it if my time is better managed, I am in a position to lead other people along with me. Even if somebody in this call is working at an individual level or a solopreneur level, I hear you. But there is going to be a time when you're going to collaborate with people. You're going to hire people for their skills and expertise. For all you know, you'd be hiring a social media manager to help you with your PR work or with your visibility, with your LinkedIn growth or Instagram growth. Coordinating with that person and getting work done from that person is also speaking about you as a leader and leadership skills as well. So leadership skill is not that I'm an XYZ company CEO, but a leadership skill is if I'm enabling another person and getting work done in a self-directional manner, that definitely helps. I have given a lot of inputs around the priority matrix right now, so I'm going to stop sharing, come back on our main screen and check with all of you that do we have any questions of whatever I have just said? Is there something you would like to ask me or add at this point of time? Any questions that you would like to ask?
I
Anything?
have a question, something that I think I missed along the way. So you said for the matrix, the box one, which is urgent and important, you mentioned
Mhm.
what should be done about it. I think I missed one and two. Which one is to be scheduled, delegated, and deleted? And there's a fourth one. So if you can go through that again. Sherin, are you still here? Uh-oh, I think her internet. Okay, I think her internet is just kicked her out. So we expect her to come back. While we wait for Sherin to come back, did anyone get that point? Can we all hear me? I want to be sure if it's me or Sherin that is not here. Can you all hear me? Hello? Okay, yes, you can. So let's just go through the quadrants while we wait for Sherin to come back. The first quadrant, which is urgent and important. What was the instruction that she gave about what you should do about those tasks? Is it that you do them right away or you schedule them? Okay, Sharon, you're back.
Yes, I'm sorry. I
Okay,
think the internet fluctuated over there.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, you were asking me a question.
Yeah, did you get the question before you left?
No, I did not hear you. I
Okay,
just lost you.
okay. So it's just to repeat what needs to be done about each quadrant. Because while you were while you were away, I was also asking people. I don't know if people really got that. What do you do
Okay.
with one, two task in the box one, two, three, and four? Yeah.
Right. So I am just going to share my screen again so that we have it for reference.
Okay.
Hold on. Here you go. All right. So the first quadrant is the urgent quadrant, which means my hurry to finish those tasks is very real. I need to get done everything listed in the in the first quadrant, which is marked red, which is important and urgent that it needs to get over fast. So my
Okay.
attempt is to finish it off as early as possible. That's what I will do with all the things I've listed there. In the
Okay.
second quadrant is my scheduling task. So that's where I open my calendar and sit with it. And I am now predicting things that I would want to do. Now, how do I get business? Where do I get business as a trainer? Is when I am letting people know about my profile, and that generally happens either through when I spend time on LinkedIn or I am part of networking events. Now, I cannot get up and go tomorrow. I need to plan for it. So that is an forecasting as a behavior helps me here, because in the past the number of events I have attended and the business that has generated because of that is very high. So every month I take an attempt to attend an online networking event and I attend an offline networking event. Minimum. If I can do more, nothing like it. But minimum one online and one offline event is on my agenda. So that comes in quadrant number two because I'm scheduling for it. Not necessarily everything is happening in my city. I need to go somewhere else. Another thing which can be in scheduling is the follow-ups that we have to do with our clients or with our people. So let's take example of this particular event. Now this event, while I had committed, I was also requesting that can we do it later because June is a little hectic for me. So every time I was reaching out and talking to you, it was on my list number two because I was scheduling it for the next time. But when I committed that yes, I'm available on 6th of June and I'm going to show up for it, this week, this particular event has moved from box number two and has gone to box number one because I have to prepare content for it. So yesterday's box in the first quadrant, developing the content and the flow was urgent because now I cannot delay it any further. I have reached that time and I have blocked some time for this particular session development. So now it's urgent as well as important. Let me also tell you, your task can move around these four boxes. It
Okay.
does not mean that if it's there, it will stay there forever. The third box, which is yellow, is delegate. So while I made the slides, the last slide I wanted some QR code to be generated. I requested a team member of mine to do that because I was working on something, and to ensure that everything falls into time and there was a set time, I requested others to do it. So that was delegate. Same work is from me putting time. I wanted somebody else to do it. And last, the things I need to delete. So yesterday, social media was off for me because I had a lot of back-to-back tasks for me as well. I had some calls to be done. So those were all connect calls. I've all pushed it for next week because this week has been hectic on different front. So that's a personal example. So there are two ways I do these boxes: one at a weekly level and second at a daily level. So I plan for the next day tonight so that tomorrow is very well sorted out and I have a personal life beyond work. So my work does not keep flowing all over and I'm very well planned out for each day.
Mm.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's clear.
Okay. So this is the Eisenhower matrix. So this is one tool, and the more you do it, now mentally I'm able to bifurcate my task into each boxes, and it's on the go planning for me. So all of these are actions which become into habits and then behaviors. So this is how I like to operate per se. So now I have got into a behavior whenever any work is assigned to me or I'm expected to do something, is to ask what is the timeline for submitting it back. If somebody is expecting an email, if somebody is expecting a document, the first thing I ask to them is, when are you expecting this from me? If I can get it done, I get it done right away. So that brings me to my second part, which is the 2 minute rule. If you can finish it in 2 minutes, get done with it. Not everything falls in boxes. So these are for tasks which are more time consuming. But if there's an email come and I already know the answer and I have the reply for it, I finish off the work. I will not put it under scheduling or delegating. So that is another thing which is called the 2 minute rule. If you can get it done in 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, get it done, get it over with. That's how you overcome all the tasks at your end. Okay. Next comes the timeline planning. I'm going to go back to the agenda sheet. So predicting forecasting behavior, I did speak about. Let's talk about timeline planning and resource mapping. This is where I would like to show you the Google Calendar. So I am a fan of Google for a simple reason, is that you have a lot of tools attached with it. Similarly, you have the whole workspace available for Microsoft as well. I prefer Google because with multiple internal teams and stakeholders coming, it is more easier to understand and set up. Even if you're a solo brand, a solo individual person, my biggest recommendation from a tech perspective is get a domain of your name. What do I mean by it? If Sherin Mathew if I did not own the Upskill Studio, if I did not have a brand, I would probably get a name called www.sherinmathew.com. The reason is, it is good, there is a lot of credibility built when you have an at the rate domain, a unique name identity on the web, instead of Sherin Mathew at the rate gmail.com. So that makes a lot of difference. So whether you're a solopreneur or you work under a brand name, which is it's okay if you're a solopreneur and have a brand name, and it's also okay if you're a solopreneur and work under your own name identity. Both are fine. But please get a domain which is suitable for you. And using that domain, you can either buy the Google or the Microsoft Workspace. I have the Google Workspace. What it helps me does is integrate all my work together. And I would like to just walk through certain features of the calendar, which has really made my life simple, and it has helped me manage my team in a remote manner. So this calendar, if you see, so all the green are Indian festivals. So if you see, there are these options over here where holidays in India. So in November, Diwali is a very big festival for us. Almost a week to 10 days, everyone is busy in it. So anything before that and anything after that is something like a no-no for all of us, because clients are not active, work does not really happen. It's a very slow 10-15 days for any service or product industry in India. It's a very big religious festival which happens. It's called the Festival of Lights. Okay, now how do I use Google Calendar? So let's talk from an internal team perspective. So when I go to the calendar, and if I'm going to add my name, so this is one of the accounts, okay, and I'm going to add my name, right? The minute you add my name, you can immediately see all the, I'm just going to go a few slides back, okay. So when you add my name, and you can see, one sec, hold on. Okay, so let's say we are doing find a time and all the guests, right? Now I add guests here, so I'm going to add my name. So this side you can see your own calendar and whoever name. So this I'm particularly talking from an internal team perspective. So you can immediately map calendars. Now, Sonal is part of my team, and what she does is that when we have multiple meetings, she's responsible for scheduling these meetings
I'm
and
sorry,
ensuring that,
sorry to cut
yes,
in sharing. I'm seeing your slide. I thought you're sharing Google.
okay, hold on.
So
Was it not sharing?
no, no, no,
Let
no. It
me
wasn't.
reshare.
It's your slide I was seeing.
Mm. God. Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I'll just go a few steps back. Discard. Perfect. So whenever you open your Google Calendar, you will have this view. So the things in green are the Indian holidays, and that helps us to understand and map our work, things around it. So, like I was saying, for internal management, now Sonal, as part of my team, one of my team members is responsible for ensuring that meetings are scheduled on time, because at any given day we have at least 5 meetings happening. Now, one thumb rule I've told my team member, and this is for all my team members, that I should not have more than 5 meetings in a day, because generally meetings last almost 45 minutes to an hour. So even if it's like 30 minutes, by the time we close, it becomes 45 minutes. If it's a 45-minute meeting, it tends to close around 1 hour. So at an average, if I take 1 hour per meeting, that means 5 hours in a day is just going in different kinds of discussions and meetings. So the rule is no more than 5 meetings a day. Now, my team member is a different person managing multiple things. I am doing my own work. Now, how do we collaborate? The calendar helps us do that. So every time she does not have to come and check with me, Sharon, are you free at this time? Sharon, can you do a meeting? Sharon, can you do this meeting? All she needs to do is refer to my calendar. And how can she do that? So I'm just going to go one step back. Okay. And if I go here, I can say find a time and put a guest here. Okay. So, whosever name you put, and if the calendar is visible. So, when you have a Google Workspace, same thing happens for Microsoft as well. When you have a Google Workspace, you can easily see what are the dates planned and blocked over there. So, I'm going to go a few days back to show you an example. Now, if you see this person, Sonal, who is part of my team, her calendar is free. But because she's put my name and she can see all guests, and if somebody reaches out and says, okay, we need a meeting on Friday, and she's responsible for setting it up on behalf of me, for me, she immediately is capable of saying, I'm sorry, Friday is not available. We can do it at another time, because she has access to my calendar. So this is an important part. Even if you're working with freelancers or external parties and you want to show your calendar, there is an option to show at least busy and free. So because she's my internal team member, I'm very comfortable with her knowing what exactly I am busy with. You can also take a week view, so she immediately knows how is my week placed, and she can do schedule things for me. So I have delegated my task of coordinating meetings with clients and stakeholders, and she is able to do things on her own because of this particular feature at calendar. This for me is an example of leadership and time management, because one, I am saving a lot of time by not getting into this task. So my area of focus is business development and training. I'm able to focus 100% on it. Her job is to help sure all of this runs in place, so she's able to manage it because I've enabled this for her. So she can easily see. So if something has to be set here, she knows 27th is free for me, and she can easily set slots for me out here. Okay. Now, this example is very specific to internal. What happens if you're going to work with external team people? I'm not comfortable showing my calendar to anyone. All I need to do is go to settings. Okay. And if you go down, you can actually have this. Okay, just So if you explore and see, all of this is part of Google Workspace. It will be so much better when this happens out here. So you can add the calendar, share the calendar with each other. And okay, let's say if I'm going to Sherin Mathew. So this has happened. So here, if you see, I have written make available for Upskill Studio. So everyone who has an Upskill Studio email will be able to see. If it is an external party, let's say I've hired a social media manager and I want to enable time management properly, I will just say only show free and busy, because that person is an external party. I don't want to reveal all my meetings and details for confidentiality and privacy purposes. Then I will say only show free and busy, so they can see which slots are busy without the names being revealed and which slots are free for you. So this is how one way I do calendar management, and it's really been a game changer. So 4 5 people who are working in house as the core team, we all see each other's calendar and plan for each other as well. So we don't spend a lot of time talking to each other and messaging and WhatsApping beyond our weekly meetings and reviews. This definitely does help us. So this is part of calendar management that has been a game changer for us. Any questions that somebody would like to check with me before I go to the next part? Okay, because my audience is so silent and silence is golden, I am going to take that as a cue to proceed ahead. So this is how I do my timeline mapping. So now let's this is how the calendar gets managed. Let me specifically just talk about appointments, and this is a very interesting part. Um, Whenever I'm having email conversations, I am able to attach appointment links within it as well. That has been a game changing, because directly the person to whom I'm sending this email is able to schedule a slot without my manual interference. All right. I'm just going to show what do I mean by this. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Here you go. So again, I'm part of the Google Workspace. So let's have written a message that, um, hey, thanks for connecting. Okay, let's talk soon. Please select a slot of your choice. Okay. After this, I'm directly going to add. So see, Google has this amazing option, offer times that you're free. So if we've sort of, let's say over a call or something, we've discussed, okay, Tuesday 6 p.m. we'll connect, you can directly set it up. But if you want to help that person choose, we can do this. Okay. So it will open your calendar and it will help you select times. So I want to connect with this person. So what all are my free times? So you can say, I want to talk to this person for 30 minutes. So between 9 to 10, 2 slots. After that, I'm not free. And then 3, 4:30, I'm just selecting random slots. Okay. So let's say these are the slots that I'm available. I will do next. I will call it, let's say, discussion call for project X. Okay. And then I can add more description or things like that. I can attach a link. These are all the options. So let's say I'm just putting a Google Meet link and I'm saying add to email. Okay. This is a beauty of scheduling. So now, depending on when that person is available, yeah, here you go. So this whole thing comes. So if I'm sending this email, and you know what, let's just self send it and see how it is going to show up. Okay. Okay. So this is how the mail looks at my side when I'm drafting it. And I'm going to now send it. And you can select multiple dates and all of that as well. It's going to get sent. Okay. Okay, so here you go. So this is how you will receive it. I have right now just self-sent it. So now let's say I'm free from 3 to 3:30. So as a receiver, I just have to select this. It will ask me to add my name and automatically calendars are set for both of us. Imagine how much time are you saving. If you had to do it manually, you had to keep going to and for it. Here you go. So these details now of course are automatically added. I'll just say confirm. Here you go. Your event is confirmed. So you don't now have to use an external tool, but you can directly get things done. And see here it's showing on my calendar as well. See, discussion call. Directly everything is ready and set. It gets as simple as that. So all of these things, these are SOPs and processes which I have started putting in my systems, which has bought me back my time to do more research and do things which I actually really love. So yeah, talking about timeline and resource mapping, what do I mean by that? For any given project, I do these three things together. So with my team, I have an open, honest conversation that what are some project blockers and pausers. What do I mean by this? Blockers are things which can block the delivery of the project on time. Pausers are more like hindrances which can come. For example, I might have a personal event happening and that can impact the timeline as well. Somebody might go on a leave which has already been scheduled. Somebody, we always factor the predictability and this way forecasting that depending on the season and where things are, people might fall sick. It is the flu season and all of that. That does make a difference. So for a given project, we generally open an Excel sheet and we all sit together and do a project planning together where we talk about timelines, what is our capability to deliver and in what timelines, what are the resources that we have and we require, whether it is people, technology, or external, and what are the project blockers and pausers. So we create three columns or three sheets and do these planning. Every project template is slightly different from the other because all projects are unique. The next 2 points are verbatim, trust, and wordplay. I've realized that what really works in helping lead others is the kind of words I'm able to use. I don't specifically applaud somebody saying, "Oh, you've done a great job." But if it is part of my everyday behavior and characteristic and my words, my team feels safe with me, my team feels comfortable. Even if I'm working with external stakeholders where interactions are limited because we don't talk or message or interact every day. But things like, if they've suggested something and I reply back, I trust your judgment, let's work on that. Oh, you've suggested this, let me think about it and get back to you. The kind of wordings I use has helped build a lot of trust with both internal and external stakeholders. And constantly, one of my jobs which I take up and I do is aligning. So, whatever we are discussing, the ability to come back and say, hey, we are doing this to achieve this. What is your suggestion? Do you have a critical feedback? Is there any highlight you would want to mention as of now? So constantly when we have these kind of words and conversation, it really helps. So the verbatim trust. Verbatim is nothing but what you've said verbally. If I have committed to something verbally, I ensure I put it on an email and I go through with it or follow through it. For any reason, if I'm not able to compel with it, I make it a point to point out along with the reason why. I'm sure a lot of us on this call have gone through psychology, and you might also be familiar with Simon Sinek's work called The Golden Circle. So, in which he also points out and speaks about why. Why, WHY, answers the purpose. it gives us reason to do the next step. So why is that purpose? Why is that reasoning? Which helps our brain to comprehend that, okay, this has to be done, this cannot be done, and there is a validation for it. So there's a lot less resistance when the why is properly answered and understood by both parties. So the way we are able to lead ourselves and we are able to help others understand that common objective and goal speaks volumes about our leadership skills as well. All right, I'll just come back to the screen and I'm going to stop sharing. So I am just going to recap of what we've spoken about and how and where it can help. And I will leave the last 5 minutes open for questions and discussions. So the first one, what we spoke about is the predicting and the forecasting behavior. This is nothing but your ability to push yourself into understanding what can go wrong, what can go right, what can happen, what to expect, what surprises should I be prepared for. So start applying this behavior in terms of everyday habits and actions. It can be words, it can be actions. That's one thing. Second is the Eisenhower priority matrix, doing it at a weekly level, doing it at a daily level. And the third, we saw 2 3 features about the calendar. One is where you can see each other's calendar. That feature definitely helps in the overall planning and management. Next is enabling that over an email so that the scheduling for each other happens seamlessly and reduces manual intervention. Um, Third is pre-planning, is where we're talking about the timeline planning, resource planning, which is nothing but your predicting forecasting behavior, putting it out on an Excel sheet which works best for you and the project, and then putting it back on the calendar. Mark the relevant people, it is there. So we are very strict followers of calendar within, because I always tell my team, the time we are able to save, the time we can better utilize, even if it means I need to log off half a day earlier and use it as a refresh break of sorts. Because sometimes when you work on content for a long time, or when you're designing for a long time, that break is much deserved and much required. Last but not the least, we saw a few phrases and words and the whole verbatim trust that we are doing as well. All of these, so for me, time management and leadership is not some big fancy actions or frameworks, but it's everyday behaviors which enables us to become better leaders, to lead other people. So that's it, what I had planned and prepared, and I thought this would definitely help all of you all who are joining in from different places to apply this and take things ahead as well. So I'm going to stop now. We still have 5 minutes. If somebody would want to ask something specifically or have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Wow, that's been amazing, Sherin. Thank you so much for that session. I mean, I use Google Calendar a lot. I use Google to organize my team and my own personal tasks, but I've been able to pick up a number of new things today. Thank you so much for that session. I'm definitely going to be watching this again. So let's feel free to connect with Sherin with that QR code. And if you have any question, please put in the chat or just simply unmute yourself and speak.
Right. I'm sharing my LinkedIn link, and I've also displayed a QR code. I've also realized with tools and technology, we might not want to enable it immediately, but slowly with some time and understanding. Whenever you choose to do that and you want to discuss further, I'm very happy to connect with you and help you set it up and create a workflow for you as well. I've done that for a lot of trainers and consultants in
Yeah.
India and globally, and I would love to service any of you all over this call as well.
Oh, amazing. Thank you for that. So I'm sharing I know your slides are very short, but I believe they're very valuable. I sent you personal chat here to send it to me right now so that I can upload it on this before we stop the session for people to be able to have access to it. Being able to follow it as they
Okay.
listen to the replay will be very valuable. So we're waiting as we're waiting for
Sure.
questions to come up. Feel free to join our community on Discord. The link has been put in the chat, and as well as our LinkedIn page. Also, if you one moment. Follow us on LinkedIn already. You would have seen the event that we have for this month. We have e-learning career chat coming up next week. We are having workshop with Genially coming up next month, early next month. The date will be communicated, and we also have our mentoring check-in. We have a number of people that have joined our free mentorship program. If you haven't done that, just ensure you join our group, our community on Discord. If you're not interested in that, you can just follow us on LinkedIn. All the information are always there. So let's bring in our questions. Sherin has also shared. Okay, you've shared the Canva link. Okay, so that works. So does it mean anyone can have access to the Canva design, right? From this.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So
Yes.
people are going to have access to the chat
Yes. It's a
anyway.
view
So
link.
okay, great. So I've made the chat available for people after the replay. Once they're looking at the replay, they'll be able to have access to it. I'll also quickly share something with us on. So what I want us to do now, we have just 2 minutes to go. There's something that I love us to do at the end of every webinar we do, which is called reflection time. I want us to start putting in the chat right now one thing that is new to us. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I've been using Google Calendar, and there are certain things that I learned today. And then also about leading your team, about organizing your workflow and all that. Is there any new thing that has come up to you today? Something new that you have learned today? Put in the chat and tell me what you're going to do about that. That new thing that you've learned today, how are you going to make use of it to improve on your workflow, to improve on the way you lead your team, to improve on how you perform your own task as well? Let's put that in the chat. So for me, I learned one very important thing today, that if you can do it in 2 minutes, just do it immediately. It doesn't need to be planned. I mean, I do that, but there are times that I just, you may just get carried away and feel that you need to actually put everything there. But if it can be done in 2 minutes, there's no point planning it. Just get it done. I mean, that really stuck to me. And I also learned that each box should not have more than 8 items. I can assure you, I'm very guilty of that. At times I have a box that has, like 10, 12 things, and at times looking at the list of tasks just gets you demotivated or even discouraged already. So if there's anything
Absolutely.
you have learned, yeah, if there's anything you have learned that has talked to you today, put in the chat and let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
eLID webinar series, right?
Yes.
Okay, um so about me, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Oyindamola Ojo Meato. So I'm the founder of the e-learning and instructional designers hub. We have webinars like what we're having today. We conduct conferences. We had our very first successful conference, virtual conference last month. It was amazing. And we also have e-learning development workshops. Our next one is coming very soon in July. So if you're not following us on LinkedIn, or you're not part of our community, you want to do that to be able to have access to updates about that. I am also the Chief Learning Officer at Bekamola Learning Solutions. So we help organizations design learning. We provide learning solutions to organizations to help their employees improve on their performance, or you may be an individual planning to probably design a learning Academy, we offer that service as well, and other e-learning solutions. I'm also the event board director at the Learning Network. I love coaching, mentoring, and helping people become better at what they do. And make sure you connect with us on WhatsApp. I've talked about what we do in the e-learning series. Questions, because let's have our questions coming if you haven't. And then here, the reflection time, what you have learned, what does that mean to you, and what would you like to do about that? So I'll just give us 1 minute to talk about our reflections or probably ask questions, and then we'll wrap up. So if you want to have access to this particular session after now, ensure that you follow us. Okay, so I have two people that have put in their questions here. So Rich says, what's somewhat new to me? Okay, this is not a question, it's more like his reflection. From this webinar is discovering how rich and versatile Google's Workspace is, especially the calendar. Absolutely, absolutely. That's so true. And Tayo Oyade is saying, glad to know other team members can access my calendar, which makes delegation smooth. Absolutely great, great. So I believe that both of you are going to take advantage of the new, features that you have found out about Google Workspace. And then if you are here today or you're watching the replay, ensure that you don't just watch and you don't just learn these things. Implementation is key, and that's what makes a difference. That what makes you a better leader. And on this note, we have come to the end of this session. So let's give Sherin, let's go to the React section and give her some lovely reactions or soundboard to appreciate her for today. I mean, it's been great. I've learned so much. That's for you. That's for you. Yeah, yeah. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, everyone. So we have come to the end of this session. Thank you so much once again, Sharon. Wow, wow. That's all for you. Thank you so much. So see you next. Ensure you follow us on LinkedIn to get updates about next events. Thank you so much, and bye for now, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye, bye. Great, great.